Thank you very much, Joe, and congratulations to all of our analysts, as well as 50% of the voters. Cloud9 with a methodical win. That's the best way to describe this game. I think neither team plays very risky, naturally anyway.
Yeah.
And Cloud9, they dictated the tempo, grabbed control, however loosely, and never really lost it.
This is the interesting thing. So first of all, North America is undefeated so far in Series 2, Group Stage 2. Really, really bad stat. Yeah, so here's the weird thing is Cloud9 did hold control, and I have to say they've played about the same as they did, I think, in the North American regionals. I think they're playing better, but they're playing the same style. Very slow, very controlled, not making a lot of plays. I still want to see more from them strategically, but it is working, so we'll give them that. Alliance, though, I was very surprised by, and it felt a little lackluster. You guys kept talking about this during the game, like, why isn't Wicked split pushing? Why isn't he split pushing more? And because Alliance is so much about Froggen, they were just tunneling on what does Froggen do? Oh, he pokes. Okay, well, let's get behind Froggen, let him throw the siege out there, and then we'll engage once he deals damage. They were never equipped to play around Wicked, to ward from the split push, and so he never even had time to shine.
And just going off what you said, they never warded for Wicked, right? And I feel like the unsung hero of this game, before we go into High and how well he stepped up and everything, and Sneaky doing really well in lane, I want to just talk a little bit about Meteos versus Shook, because that was my prediction earlier, was Meteos would outperform Shook, and I feel like he really did, because Meteos makes vision and objective. Why was Froggen unable to get good poke off? It's because Meteos cleared all their vision. And Shook, I feel he even said in the pregame interview, I'm a risky player. He flashed in and died, didn't make the play happen.
Yeah, interestingly about that, I was taking a look at some of the vision stats. Cloud9 placed 84 wards. They killed 40 during the course of the game. Alliance surprisingly had 105 wards placed, 20 more, but they only killed 20. Their sweeper usage simply not on the same level. Let's go back a little bit earlier. Crepo, what's your take on how this game played out?
Yeah, I just want to try and explain like the beauty in the way Cloud9 played their early game. So basically they recognized that Kayle will beat Rumble really hard, so they had to go for a lane swap. They didn't make it obvious. They sent 2 bottom first, then switch people top. And the way they handled this game is so beautiful. What went wrong in the previous game, I think, was it OMG that had the lane swap with Dada staying top all the time. Basically what Cloud9 did, they went for a fast push. They pushed in 1 wave at a time, nailing down that tower. Why don't they stack the wave? Because they don't want Wicked and Shook to come there and get all that XP. So every time 1 wave into the tower, Janna, Shield, and Lucian get that tower. They will trade that tower for Dragon, come out with a little bit of an XP advantage because more people are playing in the lane. But once they take that tower, they let the wave push back to them. They send Rumble top. Rumble will get those 3 waves of experience and farm. And at the same time, Meteos will be backing him up so he can't get dove. And that gets Rumble, or Balls rather, just into the early and mid game perfectly. If at any point they made a mistake there, Wicked would have crushed that matchup 1v1, but they didn't. They played it so beautifully.
Yeah, the first mistake actually came from Shook engaging in the mid lane. Got an interesting stat here. This was the longest first blood of the 2014 World Championship, coming in 17:29. Previous record was at 16:23 between Dark Passage and Samsung White. So not the matchup you're thinking of. But the interesting thing is the fact that by time that had happened, 3 dragons had gone down, 3 towers had gone down, and the teams were playing this sort of chess game moving around. Probably chime in a little bit on how the first 20-25 minutes played out.
I think the big, really important thing, on top of, Meteos being super efficient, like, yeah, when Balls got all that farm, Meteos was farming as well because he knew he didn't have to cover that dive. But the mid lane matchup went highly in favor of High. And with that comes not just your own vision control, but you can control their vision. You talked about them sweeping half the amount that C9 did. And a lot of that is because C9 got the wards down first. Because Xerath wasn't able to ward out, and neither was their jungler. Because as a jungler, you go Sightstone, you go whatever, Kill Gem. You're not going to survive a Cinder Burst, so you can't ward out when a Cinder's pushing like that. So I think the matchup of taking Cinder early really let them control the early game.
In terms of builds, I would have loved to see Shook build an Aegis instead. And I just want to touch very shortly. It was like, yeah, why are you going to hate on the no Mikhail's build on the Janna? I actually think in this team comp, Frost Queen's Rush is good because it allows you to build an Aegis afterwards. Because otherwise, Mikhail's into Aegis is too much gold. Also, the follow-up in this kind of team comp, just a lot of slows, Rumble is coming down. And another like AoE slow is really good. So I really like the way Cloud9 itemized. And I think Alliance dropped the ball a little bit.
Yeah, I have to agree as well on pretty much everything you say. To add some sort of stats to your points here. So first thing, the fast push into the turret, I love because one thing that Cloud9's so good at is efficiency. Lemonation got 10,000 gold that game. He was also hitting the turret in those pushes. So not only is he sharing experience, which is bonus XP to be in a duel instead of a solo lane, so he's leveling up, getting higher level on Janna. He's also getting the highest GP10 you can get from a support by hitting a turret with Spell Thieves. So he's going up there, and again, the Aegis was helpful. Damage stat for Alliance, they did 32,800 total damage to champions. 3,000 of it was physical. The other 30,000 was magic. So 10-to-1 ratio there, right? Like, it's all about getting the Aegis, getting the Negatron cloaks out. And then also, 60% of the entire team's damage of Alliance was Froggen. Most mid laners like 23%. 60% in this game. And yes, of course, it's poke, but like, that team is all about Froggen, and again, they weren't equipped to let Wicked actually win the game for them.
Well, we do have to roll this on a little bit. Let's pull the replay up, really, of the straw that broke the camel's back. This was the extended siege that Cloud9 played out. Roll the clip out, and I just want you to see how close this is. 4 towers to 3, 1 kill to 1. Yes, it is 4,000 gold at the 30-minute mark, but Cloud9 really strategically forced Alliance to react to them. Crepo, talk to me a little bit about how Cloud9 are playing.
I don't know why Wicked back there. He had teleport. The only way Alliance is going to stay in this game is they put pressure on side lanes. If they're going to play this game of chicken and vision, it's not going to work. Cloud9 realizes that. They just immediately engage. Syndra ulti, comes aggressive, Rumble ulti. They don't need to kill. If they just force him out here, they have the vision again. Wicked shows up to try and help, but it's too late. You can't do anything here.
Yeah, the play ends up rolling onto the Baron. Cloud9 grabbed that, and you know, the thing that's interesting for me is after this, Alliance's positioning is a little bit all over the place. Double, if you've got something to add about the game or the play.
Their positioning is so poor, and it's nothing really that Alliance did wrong. It's more just what did Meteos do compared to Shook? Meteos made Vision the objective. Why is Alliance in such an awful spot? Why do they have to face check in a Baron like this and funnel into these horrible positions? It's because Shook doesn't prioritize Vision nearly as much as Meteos, and it's just an edge that Cloud9 will always have.
Final thoughts probably before we have to throw to the interview.
I think a big thing that people are going to overlook is that fight wasn't for kills. They did that fight. Cloud9 forced that fight because they wanted to take Baron. And they knew if they got a chunk off, if they got flashes, that they could never regain Baron control.
Well, Cloud9 come away looking fantastic, and there's questions that Alliance need to answer. Sharks has been joined by Meteos after the win, so let's check in with her.
Thank you very much. Quick shot, indeed, joined here by Cloud9's Meteos. First off, congratulations. What a great start here for you guys. Talk me through picks and bans. How much did what you ended up getting in picks and bans reflect the plan you guys had?
We planned a lot for this game, and I was actually pretty happily surprised with picks and bans because we thought they would pick a little bit differently, which would, in my opinion, make it harder for us to win. But they ended up with a full magic damage comp, which is really good for us because we can just pretty much build MR, and the fights are not too bad. So it was kind of a slow game because both teams, I feel like, were focusing on their scaling aspect. They had Kog'Maw's era, so they were like, okay, let's just scale and scale. For us, it was Kha'Zix, which is worse to Elise early game, but he outscales are really hard. So we were like, okay, they're all AP, let's just scale and get MR and we'll win. So it was a low-kill game, but I think we had good objective control, which led to slow leads.
Yeah, you guys did have fantastic objective control. A lot of that is, of course, your work. How was the matchup with Shook like? Because it was pretty much all Meteos we saw.
Well, I don't really know how that matchup went because it was a 2v1, so both junglers didn't do too much. In the beginning of the game, we went for a turret and farm when they went for dragon, so we were ahead in XP. Plus, we had 2 big waves pushed to us after we went back to standard lanes, so they got extremely behind in XP early, which makes it hard for him to do anything because he's an aggressive early game jungler. So he's trying to make plays, and I think he had to protect Kale when he went back into the lane against Rumble. So I just said, all right, Elise is going to go up there, waste his time, and I can keep farming. I don't know if he actually did that or not, but I sort of assumed that's what he was doing during the game. And once I had Elder Lizard and level 6, there's no way he could really fight me again, so it was a hard game for him.
Yeah, it definitely was, and good game by you guys. How does this prepare you guys going forward? It's a pretty uneventful win, so to say.
It was a slower win, but we did beat Alliance, and they're a really good team. We respect them a lot, so it feels good. And hopefully we can beat Kaboom later today. And going forward, maybe we'll beat Naj and White Shield. I don't know. That one seems a little bit ambitious, but number 2 out of the group would be good.
All right, ambitious, not cocky. I like it. Thank you very much. Congratulations. All right, we're going to take a short break, but when we come back, the Season 1 World Champions Fnatic go head-to-head with North America's LMQ. Don't go anywhere.
Everybody was kung fu fighting. Are you fast as lightning or not?
Alright, boss. Yeah.
It treats you as an equal.
Carry me this game. I'll carry you the next game.
I'll try.
from the Baron area. There's the jump in though. Going on to Tabs, who gets blown down to half. There is a tidal wave coming through.
Not really the damage providers right now. Wicked can't do much without the team.
Whoa.
They just shred down Tabs there.
Yeah, the super minions would end the game as long as they keep Alliance occupied.
Eye gets bubbled in. Will they be able to get a good fight out of this? Zanya's thrown down in from balls, and it looks like they're actually pushing Alliance away from their base.